Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here we have for you. U.S. government bonds in trouble. We'll talk about it. We got Senator Loomis for you today. You're going to want to hear that as well. Digital Yuan, Digital Pound Foundation, and so much more, as well as Ripple holding the winning hand in the SEC case. We'll talk about that. And Dark Defender technical analyst shows us an extremely bullish chart for XRP breakout. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me at the top of the screen on Twitter at Dig Perspectives, ladies and gentlemen. It is $2.152 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency this morning. It is April 3rd, 2022. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning. Don't forget, exclusive live on Facebook at Digital Perspectives News right here this morning, 9:30 a.m. to 9:45 is when we'll start. Make sure you don't miss it. I'm going to try to start right at 9:30, to be honest with you. So make sure you tune in for that. We have a great conversation on there. And take a look at this. We see Bitcoin right now 46,200 plus, Ethereum 3,400 plus. Back at the number 8 spot now. XRP slipping on the total market cap here, looking like we're really at 40 billion, almost on the nose here. 83 cents. Let's take a look at this range of price very quickly here. 82 cents on the bottom, 85 on the top. Wait till you see this chart before we get out of here today. This is Clinton Donnelly reminding everybody, as I am you, don't let fear of taxes stop you from investing in the next crypto bull run. Well said, Clinton Donnelly. And if you're not sure what to do about your crypto taxes, reach out to him at donnellytaxlaw.com. Link for it underneath the video. Take a look right here. U.S. government bonds closed the first quarter with total returns down by 5.6%. Listen to this. The worst performance since record keeping began in 1973. Oh my, oh my. Again, I just want to recap here. We're going to cover some news about CBDCs rolling out and the thoughts behind that from different regions around the world. You're going to see some alignment there. But I want to bring this up because I have never, even before being a YouTuber, but as an investor, when I first discovered Ripple and XRP, which are two separate things, right? I have never been under the assumption or the idea or notion that the onset of XRP introduction into the world would not be under great economic conditions. I've always called it a bittersweet moment when it comes. I think it will be the reward of all the XRP holders personally who hold it. And I believe it will be to the, bitter side of the rest of the world in the conventional markets that know nothing about what is taking place, because I do believe there will be a huge day of reckoning, a revaluation of currencies, and a move to a new financial system in order to truly introduce it for its full-scale intended use, its actual full role in the world in full capacity. So I try to keep that in mind as I do look forward to 4- and 5-digit prices that a good part of the world may be suffering when that happens for all of us. Not financial advice. Looking right here, just for a moment, I want to cover ETHgate just to remind people, and listen, for those of you that know, just understand this. Excuse me. There's about 1,000 people joining this channel every week. So we have to do some overlap to understand that we're bringing new people and newcomers into this space along with us. So ETHgate, very quickly, is really information that has been uncovered. It really has been carried, the baton carrier here has been Digital Asset Investor, and I've been inspired by that and many, many other influencers on social media and other places to really, really reveal that there has been some kind of wrongdoing going on here between the SEC, Jay Clayton, William Hinman, and others. It really does suggest the information that there was some kind of cooperation going on here to allow Ethereum to do what it is really become successful in doing now, which is to create somewhat of a monopoly here in this digital asset space and an assembly line to launch project after project off the Ethereum network, while the rest of the crypto space has been held to a much higher standard than Ethereum was. So in that, we know that, as John Deaton says here, this is why people are so angry. William Hinman, at his time at the SEC of Corporate and Finance Division, when we look at ETH, we don't see a third-party promoter, he said, behind a token. He is lying through his teeth, says John Deaton, plain and simple. He and Clayton met those third-party promoters a minimum of 6 times in 6 months, a once-per-month average. And that is absolute facts that cannot be disputed, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why ETHgate is such a problem. It won't go away because they don't have the truth on their side. Take a look very quickly here, and we should all stay, vigilant on making sure that there's an investigation done and accountability, because we all want a level playing field. Let's let innovation decide. Let's let the free markets decide what works best. The government SEC knows they don't have the truth on their side. Otherwise, they'd be shoving these documents right in our faces. We appreciate Jason Foster and Empower Oversight because he reminds us here as he continues to work when it's talking about whether it's the NIH and issues they're pursuing there, or whether we're talking about the SEC on matters related to, conflict of interest when it comes to Ethereum and Ripple case and everything that's happening there. So Jason Foster reminds us, you won't be surprised that the SEC doesn't always honor its word. Full update coming soon, but getting information from the government's like pulling teeth, even when the government is legally obligated to provide it. This is what happens when people get in positions of power. They start to feel that they are entitled and they don't have to work at the same level of laws and regulations that the rest of us do. Appreciate Jason Foster and all his hard work and everybody at Empower Oversight here. Excuse me one second as Bobos joins us here. That's right. Pepper, a.k.a. Bobos, is now standing in front of my screen. If you heard the little bell jingling around her little collar there. And now I'm going to try to read this and play this clip here. This is Senator Loomis, who DAI says, shout out to him, I think she just let the cat out of the bag on some things, the inside baseball stuff. She obviously knows what the plan is for central bank digital currencies. Keep your eyes on her. She is a Bitcoin maxi, by the way. Listen to this clip here.
Is there going to be a greater role under this framework for the CFTC in regulating spot markets? And if so, what, if anything, does that mean for the SEC?
Yeah, the answer is definitely yes. When you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum in particular, it's pretty clear to me that those are commodities. And the spot market will end up at CFTC and futures markets, which is why it's so fabulous to work on this with Senator Gillibrand, because she's on the Ag Committee that has jurisdiction over the CFTC. But the previous speaker you heard said there are something like 17,000 cryptos, and certainly not all of those are commodities. So we'll still be using the old Howey test from the 1940s to help define what is a security and what is a commodity. And the SEC will also have a huge role in this space. Additionally, when you look at stable coins, payment stable coins, and a possible CFDC, the central bank digital currency, those are going to be addressed in this bill also to a smaller measure. So, for example, if we had a central bank digital currency, it would likely not be like the digital yuan, which is more a direct to the retail customer type of asset. Ours would be function more like the current Fed, where our central bank digital currency would allow for faster and cheaper transfers of money among central banks, both internationally and within the United States, and the Bank for International Settlement and so forth. And then it would be the banks that would be the issuers of stable coins. And they would be pegged to the dollar as opposed to the digital yuan, which is a direct-to-retail product. So these are some of the things that we're kicking around in this bill.
And this is why I remind you of what I covered at the end of last week and months before, that, Circle, which is really the creator of the project USD coin, right? The stable coin, has just announced their partnership with Ripple partner BNY Mellon to handle the custody for the reserves of USD coin. Circle, backed by Goldman Sachs. Again, this aligns exactly with what she's talking about. Now, one thing I can say is I do not want to see the Fed directly issue digital dollars to each citizen and consumer out here, because if they do, then they're going to have the controls to be able to impose negative interest rates on us, as well as see all of your transactions. Now, with that being said, it does appear that, from the writing of this bill and being a senator in this, that she does have some ideas about how this space ends up. And she seems pretty resolved about how it's going to go. I have said that, we need to consider the understanding that XRP XLM could fall underneath the purview of the Treasury. We could also see a stable coin designation for those assets as well, which in my estimation, would put those things set at a very high price if they go that path. That's if. We're speculating here. But I'm speculating on that based on the fact that the World Bank refers to XRP and XLM as stable coins. I've shown that. You can pull that up on my search list for my videos and find that. So there is a lot suggested here. And obviously, if your project is an ICO like Ethereum was, you should in fact register with the SEC, because that would in fact be an initial coin offering, which is a digital version of an IPO, right? Now, let's take a look at this, because what she suggested about not allowing the Fed to release a retail CBDC to us really would impose, like she suggested about the Chinese digital yuan, which is now rolling out in even more cities in China, which absolutely has transparency for the government to monitor your transactions and what you do with the money, and impose negative interest rates if they so decide. And then here at the Digital Pound Foundation, they're talking about the same concern here. Listen to this little part right here where it talks about this. If we want public to embrace central bank digital currencies, they're well aware of what they need to do here. We need to address their concerns. Surveys into CBDCs have revealed the importance that people place on potential anonymity, just like physical cash, right? They feel that no one should know how or where the money they spend and where it goes to, and distrust government controls. Rightfully so, I say. It says, in response to the Bank of England has set privacy as a key design principle for the task force exploration into the UK digital pound. Ideally, CBDC designs need to be enough transparency to enable the leap forward in efficiency and effectiveness while still protecting individuals and corporate rights to privacy. Now listen to what they're suggesting. One approach could be to have different treatment for low and high value payments. So the technology exists, they say, to build an infrastructure that can safeguard users' privacy for low-value transactions, while ensuring higher-value transactions are subject to anti-money laundering and other compliance checks. So essentially saying, if you make a big purchase that goes above 3,000, 10,000, wherever they send that mark, that's immediately going to get checked out. That's going to get flagged to be checked, right? And then the anti-money laundering, compliance, and all of this. But then if you do low-value payments, that won't be an issue. But somehow they're telling you that the people in government won't take advantage of the technology that's there and simply start looking at your low-value transactions. I find that one hard to believe, right? Here we see the digital euro. It says ECB. We're talking about Fabio Panetta here on the board with the European Central Bank, and they're discussing the same thing, as well as the fact here that they say that the group aims to maintain high privacy standards, as we hear, right, to maintain users' trust. But Christine Lagarde's statement last year, digital euro can roll out into 2025. But if we look down here, it says how all of these play out is yet to be seen. 3 weeks ago, ECB Christine Lagarde said the EU needed to increase its pace in developing the digital euro. And last year, she revealed that they could expect it to launch in 2025. So there really has been a push to make it even sooner, potentially. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Here's the big thing right here. Charles Hoskins sums it up right here. If cash were replaced with a digital dollar, however, the Fed could impose a negative interest rate by gradually shrinking the electronic balances in everyone's digital currency accounts, creating an incentive for consumers to spend and for companies to invest. And that is the danger here, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a look at this, because we got some SEC and Ripple case analysis here. Let's take a look at this. First of all, this is Ripple applauding Hester Peirce for blaming SEC over lack of fair notice. And this is essentially coming from Stuart Alderati, legal counsel here, has shared Hester Peirce's remarks with a fire emoji. And he says Ripple's getting closer to summary judgment on fair notice as Judge, he doesn't say this, but they're commenting as an analysis here. Ripple's getting closer to summary judgment on fair notice as Judge Annalisa Torres ordered both parties to agree on a briefing schedule. The defendants want opening briefs on May 22nd, but the plaintiffs think it's premature. It is likely looking to extend the XRP lawsuit as much as possible, as its time is its best weapon against the Ripple in this case. Upcoming court ruling on the SEC's motion for reconsideration, however, might change everything. A Ripple win on that front means that the SEC will be forced to produce the sensitive, very sensitive documents regarding Hinman's 2018 speech. XRP holders attorney John Deaton believes the SEC will rather settle than handing over such damning evidence. It has been hinted that these files could contain SEC analysis on XRP that concluded the digital asset is not a security. We will see. I don't think we're far away from getting that ruling either, ladies and gentlemen. And when we get that ruling, we're going to see what's to come after that, right? But on the other hand, here we see that there is an article and analysis here that says Ripple holds the winning hand. I like to think so, but I tell you, let's take a look at this for a second. It says the lawsuit rolls on. It's becoming obvious that defendants hold the winning hand. Not only has Ripple Labs racked up one procedural victory after another, it also has evidence the SEC officials making statements that undermine their own case. And they do have that. It looks like Ripple will be allowed to use these statements in court should things get to that point. So Ripple has all the assets it needs to either win a trial or negotiate an extremely favorable settlement. In this article, they explored the two big reasons why Ripple Labs is indeed holding the winning hand for a lawsuit, and it means for investors. And it talks about the SEC undermining the case, which I all think that we understand and know. They have contradicted themselves terribly in this, which really reveals just how badly they do not want to have to give up these documents that we're waiting for the judge to rule on. So let's take a part of that and see what we go there. Okay, so just really quickly, Ripple racks up procedural wins. Take a looking at this. A big factor Ripple has gone for it in the lawsuit is the fact that they have racked up a series of procedural wins. In addition to just mentioned motion of Hinman's statements, Ripple has also won deposing a judge who ruled that Ethereum isn't a security, getting various documents admitted to trial, having several SEC motions overruled. These might not seem like much, but together they indicate Ripple has momentum. They also may indicate that the judge is sympathetic to Ripple Labs, although that point is more speculative. So we will see how all of this shakes out. Again, that motion should be coming sooner than we all think. Looking right here, there's an immediate prediction for oncoming upswing potential for 15% surge in XRP price. We recently saw a retracement and a pullback from the 91 cents mark, coming in at, I think, 83. Is that where we're at today, right? 83 cents right now. Yep. So we'll see. But this is what I want you to take a look at, because I appreciate all of these technical analysts. Dark Defender here has been one that we cover for quite some time. And I must say, he's talking about near-term exponential target is $7.60 plus, and another target here in the future of $96 plus. Now, we're going to get into this in a second, but I do look forward to this day for all of the XRP holders who have endured so much for so long. I really, really do. And I do believe that we will see that and so much more. And that's not financial advice from me or him, but take a look at this chart very quickly here. Because what he's showing here, I believe, with these two price points is this fractal that we saw from 2017, 2018, which is over the course of just 20-some days that we saw this price action back then in that 2017, 2018 bull run. Using those fractals, I believe, is what he's done here to come up with these targets, and to show in that you see this cup and handle setting up here. And if that continues to play out, you could set the stage for this cup and handle to be a huge boom going forward. And if that were to mimic in regard to history, right, repeating itself, it could take us to these price points, is how I'm gathering what he's sharing in this chart. However, if we do not see a continuation of the cup and handle, we will look to the previous supports that we have seen in the past, 78 cents on the pullback for support, or 60 cents if we fall below that. That's where we are on this day. And one of the reasons I really enjoy Dark Defender and Coins Kids so much is that they tell us what the upside is, but they also tell us what the pullback will be. Remember, these charts are not guaranteed. They are an accurate representation in real time of buyers and sellers. And we have to pay attention to them because they are ever changing. Sometimes these formations and these symbols and patterns that you find, they don't hold up. They break down. And if they break down, we'll see support fall back to 78, 66 cents. If they go forward and they continue to follow through, we could see us push forward to the $7.76. And look at this. Even if we use the fractal here, just to remind everybody, you see it goes up, it spiked way back down. Look at that big bar up at that time in 2017, right? And then it spiked all the way up to there, but it also touched back down here briefly in that wick. Right? It's not just all one massive, chutes and ladders. It's an up and down game here, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way the market moves, and that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Enjoy your Sunday, and I hope to see you in Facebook stream at Digital Perspectives News right here at the top of the screen. Come see us at 9:30 a.m. this morning. We'll catch you there. Take care.